Thank you, brothers and sisters. We have something hip that we want to present to you.
Yo, sound man, turn it up.
Beans.
Hey, yo, what's poppin'? It is Drop the Beat Podcast with your man Wild Child, Season 2. What's happening? So listen, let's get right into it, man. I want to welcome one of Chicago's legendary, one of the dudes that's been around forever. Y'all make some noise. Put y'all hands together for the one and only DJ Mark Fulla Flava. What's up, my boy?
What's up? What's
How
happening?
you feeling, stud?
They say I've been around forever.
You've been around, dog.
I feel like
You've
it.
been around.
I feel like I've been around.
Like you another
forever.
one of them ones. Like when I like really got in the game, you was I heard of you before I even met you. But so let's just jump dead into it. What led you into the DJ game?
So back when I was in high school, shout out Simeon Wolverines. Back when I was in high school, I had a really close friend. His name was Vance Green, and he had gotten into DJing, and he had equipment and all of that. So I would just hang out at his house on the weekends and mess around with his equipment, like watch him do what he do. And I started out, making little mixtapes or whatever, recording. And, I just fell in love with the art of, DJing and, blending and all of that.
Word. Okay. So in all of that, what was it specifically? Or was it something specific that
before I started doing that, I was going to parties and I used to like to go dance and and I was just always amazed watching other DJs, get the crowd going and stuff like that. So, my initial love was just for the music and, the party scene. And so, I was like, damn, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So
everybody always want to be a DJ.
Yeah, then he was doing his thing and you know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, that's my road to get in the game. People always say, well, who taught you? It's like, one thing I always tell people, you can't teach nobody how to DJ. Like you just, it's like nobody's sitting there saying, okay, move the pitch here, then bring the record in there. It's kind of one of those things you just pick up by practicing and just, you know what I'm saying, as you go along. So, but I do give, him credit for being that person to like kind of introduce me to it. And, like I said, I just learned watching him and then just, and just picking up on, certain things. And so shout out Vance Green, shout out Deion Bracken. He's another guy who
yes, sir,
let me come over his house and play around with his turntables and stuff. When we were in high school, we went to school together. And we would leave school and go to his house every day. And, and I was just getting my practice in. And, so, I always, give credit to those two.
Dope.
Kind of starting me out.
So when you first started, were you on turntables, CDJs?
No, I was turntables.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't even... CDs wasn't even a thing back then,
So we
talking. I'm not gonna tell my age, but there was no such thing as a CD. So we had turntables and we was recording on them Tone Masters and yeah.
Yikes.
And then we had the CD players with the pitch control, and so we was blending with that little skinny ass little button,
Right. All you youngest, boy, y'all just don't know.
Man.
Y'all got listen. To have a controller now is such. You would be considered super rich back in the day.
Oh man,
with what y'all got right now, even if it was SB.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, where did the name come from? Like, how'd you come up on your name?
My last name is Fuller, and I don't know. I was riding with one of my friends in the car. I can't even remember who it is. About 3-4 different people saying they gave me my name, but I don't know. We was in the car. It's just somebody just said Fulla Flava, and then it just stuck.
Yeah, got it. So, genre wise, if you could pick your 2 favorite genres to spin, what would that be?
I love me some 90s hip hop. and R&B. So I'll probably say 90s hip hop and R&B, and then I'll probably go with like disco.
Right. Right. Now I will give you credit. Like
Yeah.
I remember, I forgot where we were. I remember hearing you play disco for the first time. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Okay, dude. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you nice with your disco.
I love me some disco.
Word.
Yeah.
So what is it about disco that's appealing for you?
I mean,
what,
it's just
what is it about both of the genres that's appealing for you? Let me ask
both
that.
of them actually. They're both nostalgic to my, coming up. When I first came on the scene, going to parties and stuff like that. I was going and listening to Ron Hardy and Ferris and the House Ferris, not the hip hop
That
Ferris.
guy. Yeah.
But I was going to parties, Terry Hunter, a lot of those guys, and that's what they were playing, man. They were heavy into the disco, going to the warehouse and second warehouse, not the original warehouse. A lot of people profess it. I was there. I was at the music box. Where I'm like, dude, your ass was. If you was at the music box, you was 2 years old. Stop lying. But so I was at the warehouse on Randolph Street. That's the first warehouse that I went to.
Okay.
But yeah, just going to those parties and hearing that disco music and dance. Like I said, love of dancing. And that was it for me. And then, and then the 90s, R&B and hip hop, that's my, college life. And, so, that's very nostalgic for me. So and
just for knowing you went to college where?
At Jackson State. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something. JSU.
You been down there?
What? So I went to Corliss, and we used to always go down because, like, the band used to always pattern ourselves after JSU.
Okay.
Let me tell you, change my life.
Yeah.
You feel me? Change my life. Good old J. Anyway.
Yeah, they just booked me to. I'm going. They playing FAMU October 18th. I'm gonna be down there DJing an alumni party.
Nice.
And I'll probably set up some other stuff around that, but I haven't been back in like 10 years.
Oh, word. Okay.
Yeah, so it's gonna be fun.
Nice. So let's shift gears. Like, know you to be a DJ, good DJ, dope DJ, but now I know you also as a promoter,
Right.
in a sense. Talk to me about what got you into the throwing events or throwing parties, along with being a DJ situation.
So that started in college. So I was a DJ. Trying to be a DJ. I hadn't DJed any parties, but me and Vance, who I told you about, first of all, we was hanging out a lot in Chicago, and me watching him DJ and picking up on stuff. And then he told me one day, he was like, "Man, I'm about to go down to college." I'm like, "What you mean you about to go to college?"
You mad?
I'm like, because I had already graduated high school. I was out working a job at the post office, and I was straight.
Word.
I was content. I wasn't going to no college. And he was like, "Man, I'm going to Jackson State." I'm like, "Well, shit, I'm going too." He was like, "Well, you can't just like pick up and go." I'm like, "No." I'm like, "You going? I'm going." So he was like, "Well, you got to take the ACT test." I'm like, "All right, where I signed up?"
Damn.
And I went somewhere, took the ACT test, got admitted, and I took off. Even my mother was like, "What do you mean you going to college?" I was like, "I'm going." Like, "You not gonna support me?" She's like, "You got a good job at the post office. Why you going?" I say, "I just want to go to college."
Well, you had some parents that mentality back then was like, "College, no, you finna go get this trade.
Yeah.
You gonna go on and work, and that's it. That's life."
Yeah.
Damn.
So I went to college. He, so we were roommates. He had the equipment down there and stuff, and so he started getting booked for parties, and so he would let me open up and stuff like that. And then I'm just like, man, Chicago was so deep, and I was like, man, they throwing
And this
these
is at
parties.
JSU at the time.
And,
Okay.
we would come and play. We would play some house music. Because we're in Mississippi, nobody really was playing house, but except for me and him. So we go into our little house set, and Chicago people go crazy. So then I'm like, man, we should just throw the party just for Chicago people. We can just play house music, all night. I was a marketing major, So I'm
Word.
like, man, I could.
It makes all
I could,
damn sense now.
I was like, so that business mind started clicking in. So I'm like, man, we rented out the spot. I rented out the spot. And because he was never like the business person, he just wanted to DJ. So I'm like, man, no, we can. Man, they gave us $50 to DJ this party, and they made probably $1,000. You know, back there they charged $2-3. $1,000 was a lot. I'm like, they made like $1,000. I'm like, man, we can throw our own party, get all the Chicago people. He was like, all right, put it in motion, man. I put some flyers together. And you know, Chicago, we know how to promote. I'm on the campus, bam, bam, hitting everybody with flyers. Chicago party. Next thing I know, man, it blew up, and everybody came to the party. But what was really even more monumental than that, we was partying in these like shacks in the middle of nowhere, like these barns and shit. And I'm just like, man,
I mean,
you
you
know,
in Mississippi though.
yeah, I'm like, I'm from Chicago. I'm like, so I'm driving around downtown. I'm seeing all these buildings and you know these little bars and stuff. I'm like, man, we need to be downtown. People like, oh, we don't go down. Black people don't go downtown. I'm like, well, they had the tallest building in Jackson was the Standard Life building. So I said, man, it'd be dope if we can throw a party in the Standard Life building. And then it's like, how you gonna throw a party? You know, then I found out that one of the guys that went to school with us, I think it was his mother, his grandmother, something was like the housekeeper or something. Like she cleaned up, you know, the offices and stuff after everybody left. Man, I talked to her, gave her like $100. She let us come up in there and throw a party. And it was like the best party ever in the history of Mississippi. We downtown, the Standard Life building.
Job on the line.
Right. Yeah, we was up in there, man, 10 o'clock to like 3 in the morning.
Dude.
And we helped her clean up after the party was over. And it was like it never happened. Sure. It was like it never happened. And people talked about that party. It seemed like everybody from school came to that party, man. They was all outside. And it was crazy. And then from there, it was a club downtown called the Catwalk. And so that was my next move. I'm like, I'm going to get the Catwalk. The guy told me, he said, I guess he's like, I'll give you a shot. He was like, Monday night. I'm like, Monday night?
Monday night? Damn.
Man, threw that party at the Catwalk on Monday night, man. It was probably like 600 people inside. And then probably 2,000 outside that
First
couldn't get in.
First of all, how big is this place that you got 600 people?
It was a big spot. It was a big spot. And
damn.
Yeah, like I said, it was about 2,000 people outside just couldn't get in. They just hanging out, partying in the street. And so he gave me every Monday. So that got so big that people would drive down from Alcorn and Southern and just on Monday to come to my party on Monday night. And I started bringing DJs. I brought Ferris down there. That's when he was on 106 Jams, I think. I brought Ferris down there. It was crazy. Ferris, you owe me. Nah, man, Ferris came down there and pulled some shit, man. He came down there DJ. So when I called him, I guess he figured like, man, this is gonna look, you know, he gonna help me out. He didn't charge me much. And he drove down and shit, and he saw like the magnitude of this party. And I guess he was like, he figured he wants some more money.
Let's not to renegotiate before the party.
This is what I think. I don't know. I still don't know. But this bit, man, he said, man, after the party, he called me about an hour later. Man, I just got robbed. I'm like, what? He was like, yeah, at the hotel, man, these guys pulled up on me and robbed me. And then he's like, man, I don't even have enough money to get back home. And so I called the owner, told the owner. The owner ended up giving him some money. I don't know how much he gave him. And I'm like, I said, you gave him what? He's like, yeah, the guy said, you know, he couldn't get home. I'm like,
hey, man.
You know.
Hey, wait.
He said he'd give me a discount next time he come. I'm like, all right.
Good one. Hey.
That was a good one, though. I was like,
I got you.
It didn't come out my pocket, but you still owe me.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but yeah, man. So Catwalk was legendary, man. And so from there, it was just like, man, I started throwing my own events and DJing at the same time.
Word. Yeah. So you go from Mississippi, then you come here. What was the biggest difference you noticed in throwing parties in Mississippi to throwing parties here?
Well, actually, little known fact, I didn't go. I come back here from Mississippi. I went to Connecticut.
Oh, word.
So yeah. So after I graduated, just so y'all know, I graduated #1 business student at Jackson State. So Mr. School of Business. So
okay.
I got a job working for Shell Oil and marketing.
Look at the big brain on Brad.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was working for Shell Oil, and they moved me to Connecticut, and I was a regional marketing manager for
Nice.
Shell. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
So when I was in Connecticut, I said, hey, they don't have a party scene here. So I figured, man, shit, let me start throwing some parties here in Connecticut, because I saw it was wide open. So I started doing First Fridays in Connecticut. So I own that brand. And then that thing grew. Shit,
We talked about that. Okay.
that thing started
Gotcha.
growing to shit. I was getting about 2,000 people coming to the parties there. Like, we was running out. I keep saying we. This is like, I had no partners, but yeah, that's just me, man. Just being
It's all
humble.
good.
But
It's all
so
good.
I was renting out big venues and doing events and parties, and it was like the biggest thing going. And then next thing I know, I was in Hartford, Connecticut. Now here come New Haven, talking about First Fridays, New Haven, and then Glastonbury, then all over the state, somebody Stanford, First Friday. All this because of what I did. You know what I mean? And so, and I'm sending cease and desist letters every weekend all over the place. Next thing I know, people start trying to come for me, the local promoters, like, we're going to go up against him. I'm like, dude, there's 3 other Fridays in the month. Why? I got 2,000 people. Why would you even try to go against some competition? Why don't you just do it on another Friday when nothing's going on?
Right.
But it was just like, he ain't from here, Next thing you know, they start running commercials talking about support Connecticut's own, don't support people who come from Chicago, take your money.
Yikes.
I was in the car with somebody, this girl, and that commercial, she didn't even know. She's like, what the hell who they talking about? I'm
And
like,
you
that's
sitting
the
in-
thing. It's like,
you
people
sitting
don't
in the
even.
passenger seat
Like, yeah, I'm
boiling.
like, that's stupid. Like, don't nobody even know what you talking about. Oh, nobody care. People just won't go to a damn party.
That's insane.
Yeah,
That is
so
insane.
I pretty much, I said, man, let me go on back to Chicago. So I got relocated with Shell. Finally I put in, I'm like, I want to go back to Chicago. So they relocated me back to Chicago.
Okay.
So probably for about 2 years, I was still doing my events in Connecticut, and I was doing my events here in Chicago. So I would fly down on the first Friday, throw the party, come back. That's why they was like, don't come to town, take the money and go back. I'm like, McDonald's don't live here. you know what I'm saying? You get them their
Hella
money and
fact.
they spend it somewhere else.
Hella
you know
facts.
what I'm saying? So
Hella
I'm like,
facts.
yeah. So, but yeah, that was cool. So I eventually, it was just hard going back and forth. And then once I started doing it, they had First Fridays here in Chicago. Danielle Carr was doing it, and it was actually one of the original First Fridays. I think the very first one started in D.C. And then I think Danielle, Chicago was number 2.
Okay.
And so it was big. She was getting a lot of people. And then I came here, and she was getting a job in Iowa or something. And I bought it. I bought the company from her, so I bought her out.
Oh, nice.
And then I started doing First Fridays here. So it was hard to
Right.
do both, But so I stopped doing the Connecticut one. But then I started First Fridays United because there was First Fridays happening in all these different cities all around the United States. So I was like, we need to have one umbrella, kind of like a franchise, and so that we can go to these sponsors like Miller, and like we could be the only game where you can like pay us a sponsorship fee, and you could have a Miller promotion in 20 different cities on the same night every month. You know what I mean?
And everybody get paid.
Yeah.
So what y'all just missed is the real business aspect of this whole situation. Y'all just missed that. Like that's some ingenious thinking. Ingenious thinking. Why not come together and get paid as a collective as opposed to this one doing this one, this one?
Yeah.
It's silly, but
Yeah.
that's ingenious.
And so we had that going for a while, First Fridays United. So we had about 20 different cities. And we even had Canada. We got Canada on board.
Damn.
And we had a couple of contracts with Miller and McDonald's, and so that did well. But then, some of them First Fridays started falling off, and, and people started trying to do their own thing and cutting their own deals.
Of
and
course.
You know what I mean? So,
of course.
But yeah, so I'm still here, man. First Fridays since 1996.
That's insane.
Yeah.
96, it's 2024, and we still running First Fridays, which is crazy. So, just so the people can understand, and even the younger generation can understand, the importance of owning copyrights to a brand, a name. What would you say is the importance of it? In your opinion,
it's very important, because if you do something well, people are gonna try to emulate it. There's no way around it, Everybody's always trying to figure out, man, how can I, like, they're successful at it, like, how can I make money off that too?
Right.
So, and if you don't protect yourself, you just have, just like I said, in Connecticut, all these different people started popping up, and I was able to shut them down because I had owned the name,
Gotcha.
But you got to be making some real serious money though to even do that. Because it costs to send cease and desist letters and take people to court and do all that kind of crap, and you gotta have time to do it. But I definitely think everybody should protect themselves though, and copyright whatever their business is that they're doing.
Whether it's your DJ
Trademark,
name, whatever.
right? Yeah, exactly.
Got it. So let's flip back. Tell me about one epic party that you was the DJ at, and it was like, damn.
Ooh. It's been so many parties over the years.
Yikes.
Probably I would say maybe House of Blues. I did a party at House of Blues, and it was me, Kid Capri, Biz Markie, and I want to say Farley was there.
Okay.
But that was a pretty dope party. Then another party that I thought was like really, really dope is they used to have a place downtown, a sports bar called Market. I think the name of it was Market. It was on Randolph, but they had 3 floors, so they had a rooftop.
Sitting on the corner?
No, I don't even know what it. No, it wasn't on the corner, but it was like kind of west, like past Morgan, like kind of over there by Morgan and Randolph. But at the time, they weren't having hip hop events at the place, and so I got in and was like the first one to get a party, and I think I did it for my birthday. And it was 3 floors, and they had a rooftop. And this is back before people were partying on rooftops. You know what I'm saying? Like, rooftops everywhere now, but back then, there was like very few rooftops.
Got it.
And so they had a DJ booth on the rooftop. Second floor, first floor had a patio or whatever, man.
Damn.
And we jammed that bad boy in, probably about 800 people. And it was like packed on every floor.
That's crazy.
And that was a dope party.
That's
and it was
crazy.
like all the sexy women came out, the cool dudes, and it was a real cool party. People still talk about that party.
Got it. Yeah. So what differences have you noticed in the DJ game? Just, I'll even say within the last 10 years.
Anybody can DJ now. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, people were just like, man, I'm about to start DJing, and then you see like a month later killing the club. Like, I'm like, dude, how the
Let's
hell
define
you learn
killing.
how to...
Are we talking killing, or are we talking
I mean,
we killing it?
Like, to a point where nobody's noticing that this dude just started DJing a month ago, because they playing the right records, and they, I don't know if it's sync, but they blending, and I'm like perfect blends. I'm like, I mean, and that's everything. If you know what to play, when to play it, and it's coming in on beat, that's all you need. That's all the crowd care about.
So let me ask you this then. What's your opinion about DJs that use the sync button?
Man, at the end of the day, if they're, if they're rocking a party and and the crowd is into it and they're able to get paid, more power to them. I would say they need to learn though how to blend. Don't like just rely on that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had an instance where one guy was DJ, I ain't saying no names, but I suspected that he was a sync guy because he was new, and he would always bring his if he's listening, he's gonna know what I'm talking about. If he'd always bring his controller, you know what I'm saying, but he would never want to use nobody else's controller. He only want to use his in his record box. And so I'm like, dude, just download Serato. And then that way it could be an easy transition. You just plug in and use everybody's stuff. And it's like a year later, he's still bringing this record box controller. And then we always got to try to unplug one control. And so I don't know what happened at one of my events where he had to, like, until we can hook his thing up, he had to use, I said, play a couple on my, just play these next 2 records off my computer while I hook your thing up. And the blends was like
shoes in the dryer.
But then got back on that record box, that shit was it was man, I'm like, damn. So I like, just learn, just in case something happen, your shit go out and you gotta play on somebody else's stuff, at least you know how to, you know what I'm saying? Like for me, I wish I knew how to play on sync. Like, just like I tell them, they gotta learn. Because I was DJing in Mexico, they had me DJing out on the beach, and the monitor went out. And I'm on the beach, and the speakers are like way over there, so it's like an echo. And it was like I was trying. I know my blends was terrible, but like the chick come on behind me,
and
killing it.
Perfect.
Killing it. I'm like, she didn't, no headphones, no, just killing it. I'm like, are you playing a pre-mix or something? Like, but she was but she was on that sync, So I'm like, so I'm like, for situations like that, I gotta at least learn how to do everything. You know what I mean? Just so, because you never know what's gonna come your way.
I got a different take on that. Like, am I a sync guy? Absolutely not.
Right.
Regardless if this speaker, if I don't know, I think I have the uncanny ability to adjust my ear and adjust myself. So if the monitor does go out, try to figure out what that echo time is.
Right.
Pull your headphones out.
Yeah.
At that point, it's a few other.
That's another thing. I don't know, like how to listen to. Sometimes people can put both headphones on and then
just
have
go
both.
at it.
Yeah, have both.
That is kind of weird, but it goes back to like what you said. It's not a taught skill.
Right.
I think in them situations, those are like in the moment taught. You in that moment and you having to. You got to do what you got to do. So it's no different than me, right? Of course, anybody who knows me has really paid attention to me, and I ain't ashamed to say it. I'm a one deck type of guy, and that's only it only happened because I had to do it, and I adapted to it.
What do you mean? You say you what?
One deck. If you ever really pay attention, I scratch and do everything from my right.
Okay.
My left is just running.
Right.
Right. If you ain't paying attention, you don't know no difference.
True. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
but for me, I wound up having to be that way because during the party, my left deck went out. What we gonna do?
Yeah.
Luckily, I had one of my guys, DJ High Speed. He showed me internal mode. Boom.
Yeah.
Now the problem is I got too stuck in it. I've been doing it for so many years. My left hand is dead. You know what I mean? My man's be trying to be steady telling me, left hand, left.
Right.
She dead.
Yeah.
But I know I need to get back into it, but that's neither here nor there. It's going back to sync. I don't know. It's cool when the blends is cool, but it's just a little. It's something. I don't know if it's the pitch of it or it's something that's just not right.
Yeah, like I said,
opinion.
I ain't figured it out yet. I play around with it at home and try. I'm like, this shit ain't working. So I'm like, screw it. You know what I mean?
Right. So, how often do you practice? Now that we talking about,
man, I don't have time to practice, man. I got too much going on. you know, my real life business, you know,
Right,
stuff.
right.
And then these parties just be popping up, and it's like next thing I know, you know. But what's crazy about it is if I sit down and put a set together beforehand, oh man, it's the best because I know how to curate music and like how to put stuff together and in order and all that type of stuff. Like, you know, if I do something out of town or something I'm excited, like when I did Chosen Few, and I sat down and, you know, practice and line my mix up, and man,
I do not know how to do that.
I kill it.
I cannot put songs in order, and I can't.
Right.
I do not know how to do that.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll go out and you have that set together, and the crowd will throw you in a whole other direction. It's like, these people not gonna like. I'm gonna have to give them this. So now you gonna go back to
Hence my point. And that's what me and my man was talking about yesterday or day before. It's like, you know, do we, like for me, I go in and I kind of let the room initially dictate where I'm going.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I may come in with a curated set for 30 to 45-year-olds, but then I'm looking up, I got 45 to 55-year-olds who they're in that vein of music, but not in that vein of music. You know what I mean? I could do 70s, 80s funk with them, whereas it wouldn't work here.
Yeah, true.
You see what I'm saying? So I big shouts out to y'all who know how to curate a set, because
I mean, it may happen for me twice a year, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's got, you know, it's something like if I'm going out of town or something, I'm just like, you know, I don't want to just be winging it. You know what I'm saying? But usually I just go.
Got you. So as far as the hometown, the homies in the city, give me 7 people you like to listen to.
Okay, so definitely you were in that category. I like Jay, Jay Illa.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to house, you know, Mike Dunn, you know, Gene Hunt, you know, reggae, Papa G. You know, there's few people also. Here's my thing too. Like, one of my biggest pet peeves and one of the things I hate most about DJs, especially here in Chicago, is that they don't promote themselves. So if I get a day off and I want to go out and hear a DJ, you know, I want to go like to those DJs that I like. I go to that, like, so there's certain DJs. So this is a different part of that question. If I want to go out and party, name DJs that I go to their Instagram page to see where they gonna be at, so I can go hear some good music. You know what I mean? And so then you got those types of DJs. Like, I was just in Atlanta. I had DJ'd at Rocksteady, and I did an after work set, and then so I wanted to go out afterwards at 10 o'clock. So I'm like asking around. I'm like, where can I go? And people's like, well, what are you looking for? I said, man, I want some good music. You know, like, not no radio shit. I want some good music, a good mix of music, a good mix of crowd. I want a diverse crowd, and I want a nice ass cool little spot. And so, like, that trifecta you can't get here in Chicago. Like, you might get a nice spot, but the music gonna be fucked up, or you might get a diverse crowd, but the music, like, you can't get all three of the same.
You always gonna be like, right.
So, like, people was like, kind of like, maybe this, maybe that. So I said, you know what? The first DJ I went to DJ Kemet page.
Yeah.
So I saw he was spinning at some spot. I went to the venue's website. Then I like saw their video. So I'm like, it's a mixed crowd, like diverse crowd. So I'm like, okay. Then I'm like, the venue is like kind of hot too. Okay. So I'm like, that's all 3. So I just went by myself, went to this party, paid my little cover charge. And it was everything that I was looking for. It was like, man, it's a diverse crowd, like old, young, black, white, everything. He was, man, killing it, playing all kind of music. I was surprised to hear him play. He played a lot of like the new Afrobeat stuff.
Really?
Not Amapiano, but like just straight Afrobeat. And I thought he was just a house guy. But he's playing like Afrobeat. He played some hip hop stuff, some newer hip hop stuff. Then he went into some like our type of house music. And I was like, how's this gonna work with this young? Because they had some, like, they was like 22, 23 up in there.
Eesh.
And they had the 50. They had everything. And
So
everybody was vibing, man. Everybody was vibing. I'm like, we wouldn't get that here, man.
God damn, how I would love to be in a party and have from 25 to 55.
Yeah.
Play whatever, and everybody's just enjoying themselves.
And the crazy thing is, like, so if I go, you know, I'm going to name call now. If I go to Jay Illa's page this Friday to see where he's spending, I'm not going to see nothing. If I go to Sean Mack's page, I'm not going to see nothing. You know what I'm saying? If I go, like, you know, they might have a picture of some new Air Force Ones they just got on there or some, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't know what like, people, probably 80% of your followers follow you because they like the way you DJ. They, you know, they don't know your personality. They don't know how many sneakers you got.
Yeah.
They like the way you DJ. So they want to go out this weekend. They going to go on your page to see where you at, and they not going to see nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
Got it.
These guys need to, you know, put that out there so people, and I think that's one of the reasons why the party scene is the way it is, because people don't know where to go. They don't trust where to go. And, you know, it's just, you know, so I feel like these DJs need to, you know.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you kind of brought that up, and we're going to wrap it up in a minute. If you could give advice to the newer generation that's coming, what advice would you give them as far as it relates to the DJ game? What they need to do and things of that nature?
I think they need to definitely do a better job at promoting themselves. And then once they start promoting themselves and they start building a following like that from people just following them and trying to come to their parties, they can branch off into throwing their own events. You know, you don't have to sit around and let somebody pay you $300 to come spend when the person is making $8,000. You know what I'm saying? When you controlling the crowd and everybody is coming and they're loving the way you spend, you know, it's crazy that I'm the only promoter DJ that I know about, like, consistent. Like, you got DJs throw parties every now and then here, like, but no, like, consistently, like, you know what I'm saying? I've been doing this for over 20 years. There was nobody, I mean, on the house side they had, you know, Lil Lewis was, I remember him being a promoter and a DJ at the same time. But since I started and all the way to now, there's nobody. I see Jay is starting to try to do, he got something called a Get Down that he's trying to do, but that's, you know, that's like once a quarter or something like that.
I want to say
yeah, like every couple of months or something. But like, there's nobody that's regularly doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I would like to see, you know, guys, you know, get out here and start, you know, promoting their own events, and then invest your money. You know, that's what I would tell them too. You know, like, you know, you got guys like, you know, talk about like Sean Mack. Not picking on him, but Sean is like fucking DJing, I don't know, 2 parties a night, 7 days a week.
Give or take.
That motherfucker gotta be making some money. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know what he's doing with it. But, you know, I would definitely tell these younger guys, because you're not gonna be the hot dude forever. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get older. There's gonna be a new sink ass nigga come behind you, come in the game. You know what I'm saying? And he come in the game. If he get the only thing Sean Mack got on everybody, and I give him that. Like, people say, who's the best hip hop DJ in Chicago? I say Sean, because he got that mic game. That mic game, you take that mic away from him, he's just like anybody else. You know what I'm saying? But that mic game, you got to give it to him. And it's worldwide. Like, you know, I put him up there with some of the best, you know, when it comes to that mic game.
Yeah.
You know, but
you can't front.
Yeah, so it's like, man, invest your money, because you're going to have your time. Like, there was a time where I felt like maybe 10 years ago, I was doing about 5-6 parties a week, and I was like, I was that dude. And then it's like, not anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Time and life
but it's
happen,
just, yeah, so it's like, but for me, I was taking all my money. I was, put it to the side, and then I started buying real estate, and now I'm about 80% done with my own, building my own venue from the ground up.
Word.
Yeah.
You didn't. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Talk about that later.
Yeah.
But look, man, thank you for coming, man.
Thanks.
I damn sure appreciate this. Like, we've been cool for a long time, but
Yeah.
you exposed me to a few things I would have never thought about you. And man, listen, you still got my respect.
Thanks, bro.
All that other mess.
And I only did this for you, man. I ain't never did no podcast. I don't do
appreciate it,
interviews. I don't really like to do a lot of talking. Look at my shirt.
Did I talk too much?
I don't really like to talk. So I only did it for you, man, because I like
thank
you. I
you,
respect what you do. I respect
Thank
your
you.
DJing.
Thank
You're one of
you.
the
Thank
best
you.
in Chicago.
Thank you, man.
And thanks for having me, bro.
Man, absolutely. Give the people your your socials,
Right.
where they can find you, of course, since you the marketing major.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's Mark Fulla for real. Mark Fuller, Fuller, the number 4, REAL. Then Mark Flava, FLAVA for real. So that's the Instagrams, and then on Facebook I think it's Mark Flava Fuller or something like that on Facebook. But yeah, and First Friday Chicago on Instagram. Look that up.
Definitely. And First Fridays be a vibe. It's a vibe. You know how a time was had? Well, yeah.
Right.
I've been to a couple and a goddamn time was had. You feel me?
That's what's up.
Man,
Yeah.
so listen, we thank y'all for tuning in. I want to thank Mark for coming in. Until next time, Drop the Beat Podcast, your man Wild Child. We out this joint. I'll holler at
Peace.
y'all.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. We have something hip that we want to present to you.
Yo, sound man, turn up.